Dear student of class 9, I hope you are all well by the grace of Almighty Allah. I am Shariful Islam, your biology teacher. Today I would like to deliver the lecture on chapter 7, Exchange of Gas. Today I discuss about the topic describe the gas exchange in human. That means breathing. All the organs related to big breathing remain open through the pharynx. The other ends of the organ remain closed. The air enters air sac of lungs easily through the nasal passages. Nerve impulse helps in maintaining breathing. The intercostal muscles, that is called muscles within the ribs, and diaphragm contract, and the diaphragm goes downwards and the thoracic cavity expand. The volume of thoracic cavity increase and the air pressures decreased. So the pressure within the thoracic cavity becomes less than the inter-atmospheric pressure. This forces the lungs to expand and draw an air through the nose and trachea. This is inhaling. After the contraction, the muscles relax. Then the diaphragm extend and the muscles relax, allowing the diaphragm and thorax to return to normal position. So the air pressure increase, the lungs shrink back, forcing the moistened and carbon dioxide enriched air out again. This is exhaling. In this way, breathing goes on constantly. This is external respiration. Inhaling air and exhaling the gas. When inhaling the gas and the thorax or relax and diaphragm contracted. That is why the volume in rib cage is increased. And the another section, exhaling the gas, rib cage relax and it upward to the rib cavity, thorax contract and the air are exhale. This is exhaling. The next option, gas exchange. Gaseous exchange means the exchange of oxygen and carbon dioxide. It occurs in between the air and blood vessels of the lungs. Gaseous exchange occur in two steps: the absorption of oxygen and the giving out or expelling the carbon dioxide. First, absorption of oxygen. Gaseous exchange in the lungs takes place through the diffusion. In the blood, oxygen does not remain free. A large amount of oxygen combined with the hemoglobin of the red blood corpuscles and form oxyhemoglobin. This is temporary compound. Production of this compound depends on the condition of oxygen in the plasma. During blood transport, a large amount of oxygen diffused from the plasma to the limb. This is the reaction of making oxyhemoglobin. Hemoglobin plus oxygen equal oxyhemoglobin. This oxyhemoglobin are transport oxygen through blood current from lungs to cell. This happens when the oxygen concentration in the limbs is less. So the oxygen concentration in the plasma becomes less. The hemoglobin begin to give up oxygen which was bound with it. In this way, at first oxygen enters the plasma and then into the lymph or intercellular fluid. Steps which occur during oxygen transportation are described below. The exchange of gas between alveoli and blood and tissue occurs by diffusion. Diffusion of gas takes place due to the gas pressure diffusion. After entering into the blood from the lungs, dissolved oxygen flows in two ways. A small amount of oxygen flows in the plasma and most of the oxygen makes a loose bond with the iron part of hemoglobin and form a temporary compound called oxyhemoglobin. For oxyhemoglobin, oxygen separated easily. Hemoglobin plus oxygen, oxyhemoglobin. Unstable compound, oxyhemoglobin from free oxygen plus hemoglobin. Oxyhemoglobin then produce oxygen plus free hemoglobin. Capillaries, oxygen separates and penetrates into lymph by diffusion, first from the blood corpuscles and then blood capillaries. Last, from the lymph, oxygen reaches to cell after penetrating the cell membrane. Next, how carbon dioxide transport through blood. Carbon dioxide is produced by the oxidation of food. This carbon oxidized at first diffusion through the cell membrane into the lymph. Then from the lymph, carbon dioxide enters the blood plasma through capillary diffusion. Carbon dioxide is mainly transported as bicarbonate by blood plasma as sodium bicarbonate and by red blood corpuscles as potassium bicarbonate to the lung. In the lung, the carbon dioxide is released from bicarbonate and passes to the alveoli. Then carbon dioxide is forced out, diffusing through blood capillaries and alveoli. We can show an experiment to show the nature of inhaled air. To maintain this experiment, we have to need two large test tube on 10 mm syringe without needle, two plastic tube and a lime water. Procedure হলো, prepare two test tube each containing the same amount of lime water. Then insert one end of both the plastic tube in the test tube in such a way that the end remains submerged inside the lime water. Now one end of the plastic tube need to be filled airlight at the opening of the syringe. But before that, the plunger must be drawn out fully. When the tube is attached to the syringe, the plunger tube should be pushed inside, which will cause bubbles in the lime water keep inside. Repeat the same process to insert the ear. Now put the end of the plastic tube attached with the other test tube in your mouth and generally breathe inside it. Keep your mouth raised when you inhale. Observe lime water is both test tube for 15 seconds. Continue the experiment for 15 seconds more if no change is observed. This is the experiment to show the nature of exhale gas. Plastic tube. Observation. You may observe that there was no change in the lime water where normal air was inserted through the syringe. But the lime water of the test tube where exhaled air was inserted has turned milky. Conclusion. The presence of carbon dioxide in the exhaled air has turned to lime water milky. This is because the amount of carbon dioxide is more in exhaled air than in normal air. So the lime water not change when normal air was inserted. You can fill up the blanks. The respiratory system or respiration or respiratory organ or the passes or exchange the gas through respiratory organ. First nostril, second table, third table, fourth table, fifth table, then alveoli from blood to alveoli. You can fill up this flow chart, and if you are able to fill up this table, you are realizing how the lesson are absorbed by you. Thank you very much. In our next lecture, we will discuss about the disease of respiratory symptoms. Thank you to participate our online class. Allah Hafiz.